It's been a year. If you still refuse to wear a mask, you're just plain freaking stupid. People have to go out, there is work, there is things to be bought, etc. In my case, because school is shut down, we go to teachers in public centers for this kind of stuff. Not all of them went online, so here I am, wearing my mask and trying to stay away from people. Forced to sit in a room with 20 plus people close to each other and only 4 are wearing masks. And that's the case everywhere. I rarely see one now and it just angers me. I can't imagine catching this crap because of some entitled idiot that I have no idea how are they even in school if they are that stupid. And the only time I've seen a teacher talk about this, he literally said, "I don't care whether you wear a mask or not." Like, dude, I seriously hope you get to, because you just encourage all the idiots in front of you to risk their health and everyone around them. And because this year will decide what college I'll go to, and it's too late now to change teachers because they're all ahead of this idiot and I'll miss a lot, so I have to continue. Honestly, this pandemic made it very clear on who has a working brain and who barely has 2 brain cells. I'm honestly so over it at this point. I've been wearing my mask for a year and still do wear it, but I'm tired of being worried about this pandemic. It's only gotten worse as time goes by, not better. This mixed with seasonal depression is lame AF. I work as a therapist in an affordable clinic, and our waiting list is 3-4 months long. People of all ages coming in with anxiety and depression, a lot of it COVID related. I wish I could help them all. I used to get sick twice a year, in March and sometime in November. 2020 was the first year I have not gotten sick. I think this mask had something to do with it, plus being extra careful. I'm going to continue wearing face mask even when the pandemic is over, at least in public transport. I don't care what people think. There has been lots of reporting on this point. Flu straight up disappeared, and many are pointing to how often surfaces are being cleaned and mask wearing as the reason. I'm usually sick twice also, not once so far this winter. I go to a really high regarded engineering school. Last semester most classes were online or split and we didn't have any problems. But this semester almost everything is in person, and there are people in my classes that don't cover their noses. Yes, I can perfectly solve differential calculus but don't have the brain power to put my mask over my nose. I don't understand these people. A woman I work with who's in her mid-50s refuses to wear a mask, calls this whole thing a scamdemic. Uses Aldi's deliver groceries feature so she doesn't have to go to a grocery store and be forced to wear a mask. Makes others around her do things that absolutely require a mask. Goes to specific restaurants bar that don't care about masks every night for dinner. I live in the industrial Midwest US and things around here barely changed at all this entire pandemic. I'm surrounded by the dumbest MFs this country has to offer. You should visit Florida sometime. It's where all their parents live. Depends on where you go. I'm poor. I support 3 people with $300 in food stamps. I go to Walmart cause it's cheaper than every other store except Aldi's. But my boyfriend hates Aldi's. Forgets bags, quarters. In Walmart, people don't wear masks or follow the 6-foot rule because nobody will say they have to. So almost no one obeys the rules there. I go to Aldi's and everyone has a mask. 90% of people try to stay away from you because the workers actually tell people to wear masks. Target, 1 city over, same story as Aldi's. Walmart, 1 city over, has maybe 20 people with no masks versus the 50 at my smaller Walmart. So Aldi's and Target put up signs, asked everyone to wear masks, provide sanitizer wipes for carts, and liquid for you. Changed rows to 1 way only. Both Walmarts did that too, but for maybe 2 months. They took down the signs, stopped caring. Now it's a nightmare to shop. Dang, Aldi's is like 100,000x better than Walmart. Just remember the bags, or you can buy for like 10 cents at the checkout line, and quarters and eat better. I work at a restaurant where I have to be in close proximity to 6 other employees, none of whom wear a mask, ever. I've obviously told them off for it, but they just laughed at me for being overly cautious. LOL. I can't afford to lose my job, so there's not much else I can do. I wear 2 masks and a visor because I don't want to die. I have spleen issues, so I'm high risk. Luckily as a student I only work weekends, but I spend every week dreading for those 2 shifts. You can quit and claim a safe work environment and get unemployment. Not many people realize this. When my wife was on unemployment due to the pandemic, she was making around the same as when she was employed. I have too many people like this in my life. One girl actually fake coughed at me while filming my reaction. Well, she was actually sick. Not COVID, but we didn't know that for sure at the time because she wanted to mock me for being overly cautious. That can get you arrested. Times like this I'm glad I live in Australia where we almost have no cases at all. Hopefully the rest of the world will follow. No mask, no entry, no excuses. Great job in keeping yourself safe and wearing them. Hopefully the rest will as well. You guys shut down last week for 13 cases. 13. I applaud your country's leadership. There's not a single medical reason someone can't wear a mask. If there was, they would be on their deathbed and not walking round a shop. I get the I'm asthmatic bit a lot. Such a bald-faced lie. I'm an asthmatic smoker who has to wear a mask for 8 hours a day to pay my bills and I don't be and moan. I'm a 29-year guy and I'm extremely disappointed in like every one of my friends. None of them think COVID is serious. Really makes me worry. I need new friends when all this is over. I'm very skeptical of the danger of the virus generally, and the efficacy of masks specifically, yet I adhere to mask regulations better than anyone else I know or interact with. The bar for what is too inconvenient or uncomfortable to get 350 million people to consistently do is very low. I imagine they think like this. It's my choice to wear what I want. I feel fine, so I don't have it. Probably isn't real, I've never caught it. It won't kill me. It's just another cold. All of this combined into one. Oh, and the people that know it's real, but lie to themselves and say they're doing everything they can to prevent catching, but they aren't doing much. My favorite. I was pretty sick last year. It was probably COVID, so I'm immune now. Here's the bottom line. What if you're wrong? If people wearing masks are wrong, no harm is done. If anti-maskers are wrong, then they have potentially spread the virus around and caused more people to die. I know where I stand. If you refuse to wear a mask, you are a bad and selfish person. I am very conflicted about this. I always wear a mask, but I think in lawsuits and the eventually Supreme Court case will find that it is unconstitutional for the government to do so. Also, I've already had COVID and the vaccine. Still wearing a mask, but it's gonna get old here pretty soon. And although I don't agree with it, I can understand why others do not want to wear one. PLS, don't downvote me into oblivion. Thanks. You don't have to be afraid. You're being entirely rational, facts-based, and you're not leading or concluding your take with an insult like the OP. Pretty simple. If you're concerned about the virus, wear a mask. If not, then don't. I was fired in July when I requested medical leave. My boss had just come back from her second vacation during the pandemic and never wore a mask. I'm high risk and already had COVID because she forced me to deal with clients while she hid in her office. She wouldn't let me wear a mask because it looks bad. So I lost my health insurance when I'd just been pre-approved for a mental health treatment and haven't been able to go to the doctor for my ongoing issues since I had COVID. I hate people even more, TBH. I'm from India, and right now, reading all the bull's comments on this post, I'm proud that everyone, and I mean everyone, in a country where the literacy rate is low, poverty is rife, etc., everyone has the discipline to still wear a mask and not complain about it. The few raging idiots that aren't wearing it are also the ones that are getting it. Well, Indians are smart. On the other hand, we have Donald Trump, the black hole of idiocy, who managed to suck in millions of Americans into the false belief that not wearing a mask was a political statement. I work at a restaurant as a waitress and we require everyone to wear a mask if they want to come in the front door, and it is so surprising that amount of people who say I don't have a mask and try to cover their nose and mouth with their shirt or jacket. It's been a whole year. All you have to do is wear it from the front door to your table. No shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service. There's this one woman who refused to wear a mask for ages. She says she's claustrophobic and can't wear it. I'm a freaking germaphobe. This is my goddamned nightmare. I've had so many panic attacks over the last year. I come to work every day because it's my job and I need to provide for my family. I've pushed so far past my fear that it doesn't even bother me anymore. I'm just going through the motions. She needs to harden the frick up. Anyway, after 10 months, management finally made her hold mask to her face when she's not at her workstation. I've been fuming at this woman for so long. It's fine. At least she's doing something. She's also anti-vax, so forget about her chipping and do develop herd immunity. I'm claustrophobic and have asthma. If I can, and wear a mask for 8+ hours without fainting. So can you. If doctors and nurses can wear them for 12+ hours while absolutely covered in layers of protective gears, you can handle only the mask while out of your house. People are selfish and dumb. I've had people put their hands on me, twice, for telling them to wear a mask in a gas station that has signs everywhere saying you must wear a mask. It's absurd. Anyone not wearing a mask right now, going out in public like nothing's happening, is an absolute piece of crap. Like you said, it's been a year. No excuses. IKR. When people complain that it's some mind control scheme or a hoax, it makes me so angry. It's just a piece of fabric on your face. Worst case scenario, you wear a piece of fabric on your face. Best case scenario, you stop the spread of COVID. Is it really so inconvenient? LOL. This is my argument when people I know call it COVID. Worst case, you wear a mask. Best case, you stop someone else from dying. Don't mind me, I'm just here to see all the anti-masking morons offended by this post. PS are no new normal. If you see this, I'm calling you stupid. Wear a freaking mask, you idiots. You might enjoy our no new normal disgrace then. We're still a little low on members. What also annoys me is when people use the excuse that they can't wear masks because they can't breathe and they have asthma. I have multiple friends that are asthmatic and carry around inhalers but still wear masks during their 8-10 hours shifts each day without complaint. I'm to the point now that I just wish all the anti-maskers just catch COVID to understand how serious it is. Not just catch it, but have severe symptoms. Also, if you haven't figured out how to wear them properly, makes you wonder how they managed to put their shoes on to go out. I feel like we've reached a dangerous level regarding our collective lack of critical thought. I'm not sure when or why it happened, but it's scary. Scientists and medical professionals are advising we wear masks. Wearing them doesn't make you livestock. It doesn't indicate political affiliation, nor does it mean you're afraid. Wearing a mask causes no damage to the wearer and greatly reduces viral spread. I'll continue to wear it proudly. I work retail and the people who wear a lace or mesh mask pee me off more than those who don't have one. You aren't being clever, you're being selfish. I have asthma. I get that it can be restrictive, but maybe it's time to realize it's your lifestyle causing the issues and not the mask. I work as a medical assistant at a pediatric office and I feel the same about pediatrics that don't wear masks. The amount of parents and patients that come into the clinic without masks is beyond aggravating. When patients and parents come in with symptoms and no mask, I have a hard time keeping a professional attitude. I've swabbed an unmasked teen patient for COVID. Rapid test came back positive and the also unmasked mom refused to believe it. So I swabbed said patient again for state send-out test, which also came back positive. Mom refused to comply with quarantine and said she'd done her own research and contacted everyone she thought needed to be contacted. TLDR. Agree. Some people suck. There was a woman in the local supermarket with her 5 children coughing, bragging about how they have COVID-19 and are fine. The staff freaked out. The people in there freaked out. I left. Eggs aren't that important. Wearing a mask in the winter is honestly kinda awesome though. Keeps my face warm, even after we are cleared. However long that may take. I'll keep wearing masks when it's cold out, and if I'm showing any symptoms of anything, of course. I wear a mask when required by a place I'm going to, and I avoid people and crowds as much as possible anyway, even before the pandemic. But I don't wear a mask when alone outside. I feel like that's crazy. I don't wear a mask when alone in my car, etc, etc. Okay, that's what you are supposed to do. No one is telling you to sleep with a mask on. Given the nature of such an uber deadly and highly contagious virus, and after an entire year of not wearing a mask, Seems like these people would have caught it and died already. What gives? I work in a big retail store. I have been so fed up with the maskless fricks for months, but I'm running out of patience with them loyalty. If someone without a mask walks up to me, I back up 6 feet. You'd think people would get the hint right. Nope, I've had more than half of them continue to try to close the gap to ask me something. If I have to tell one more person 6 feet, please Emma freaking scream. Gets closer. The ICU I worked in became the COVID ICU. There was a COVID outbreak in a nearby prison, so we would have about 2-3 prisoners in the ICU at all times. The correction officers were by far more disrespectful than the prisoners. They would see all of us in our complete PPE for 12+ hours and then have the nerve to take off their mask to eat a freaking burger in the room with the covenant prisoner. You wonder why there was an outbreak in the prison. This wasn't every correction officer. Some were very respectful and had no problem wearing appropriate PPE. It's really frustrating to see how difficult it is for some people to follow simple directions that could literally save their life for the lives of people around them. I did everything that made sense at the time, including masking anytime I was out of my house or vehicle, hand sanitizer on me at all times and used frequently, and hand washing as often as possible. I even strip inside the back door and dump the clothes in the machine and head straight for the shower. I still got sick last May. I'll never know how, or who, if I didn't do enough or if I was exposed to it at work and was too busy for proper hand washing at that moment. I'm lucky, I recovered. I don't seem to have any lasting effects. That doesn't mean I wasn't terribly sick for 2 weeks and weak and tired for many more. I'm still doing those things, and I watched as most people joined in my pursuit of a near germ-free existence. I know, impossible, but I'm doing everything I can. To getting bored and annoyed with it and the masks and hand sanitizers falling away. It's not over, and we can all do a lot about it, but it only works well if we're in it together. Welcome to the whole state of Texas. I came here to help hospitals overwhelmed with COVID patients. Seems like every day I have a real man, oil worker, hunter, pipeline worker, cowboy, trucker, etc. ask me why. How do I know they have COVID? Lab results aren't enough for them. They'll try walking to the bathroom without their oxygen and almost pass out and then ask why they felt so dizzy. Even after explaining, they are just baffled at the science. Their political views are so strong it's funny to see their face try and figure out the reality of the science contradicting with their asinine beliefs. It's been a year. If you still refuse to wear a mask, you're just plain freaking stupid. I agree. If you can't stay 6+ feet away, even outdoors, you should wear a mask. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what the experts recommend. People are freaking selfish. At work, everyone complains how COVID is a hoax, but also that China lied, people died. Fauci is useless for saying masks don't do anything in the beginning. I'm at the point where I don't give a crap about anyone else and just wear my mask, go to work and go home. I hope everyone gets COVID and dies so I can buy cheap property. I work in an emergency department. I want to agree with this, but then most of our business would dry up. Gonna go ahead and for those who need it. I just got the first dose of the vaccine and getting the second dose soon. Even though I'm vaccinated, I am still gonna wear a mask. I can still transfer the disease though. Wearing a mask is a responsibility to protect everyone around me. Yet it genuinely angers me and has for a long time. I've been isolating and basically in solitude for 11 months straight, and I'm a broken person. I lost my job in April and with it my health insurance. Couldn't bring myself to leave the house for anything other than absolute essentials because if anything happened I wouldn't be able to afford medical care. I'm working from home now, so no change on the isolation front. It's not even remotely hard. Put on a freaking mask. It didn't have to be like this. I have found out we have a nation of doctors that went to med school at YouTube and Facebook, which has left the rest of us to fight 2 pandemics, COVID and stupidity. I was in a Discord chat hangout with some friends a few weeks ago, and one of them said they heard a good quote about the anti-maskers. It was something like, it hasn't been a struggle against stupidity, but rather a struggle against selfishness. Anti-maskers may spout some BS about God-given right not to, fake statistics, etc. But those are all excuses, and it always comes down to them being selfish and not caring about others. How dare you? I have a health condition that prevents me being able to breathe through a thin cloth. The health condition is known as being Republican. It causes me to claim Jesus would do certain things despite never reading the Bible. That Trump who going golfing on Sunday instead of church is God's chosen one, while Joe Biden is the devil for going to Sunday church. And caging children is the evangelical Christian thing to do. Now that sarcasm section done. Be careful with COVID. It freaking sucks. Got it 2 weeks before I was assigned to get COVID shot and it's horrible. Shortness of breath, vomiting, struggle to force yourself to eat, shivers where you can't get yourself warm enough, and that's just what I had, as there's plenty of other symptoms you may experience. Holy freaking god, I just found my new favorite subreddit to laugh at people mayo. Within 5 minutes of scrolling, I found some dude saying that masks are muzzles to implement the evil scheme of communism. Top comment. On the top of this month's first post was about how most Canadians being physically able to comprehend following lockdown is a bad thing. They are too compliant, mayo, what freaking losers. Willing to bet they didn't even leave their houses pre-corona. 3 friends of mine have died due to complications related to COVID and pre-existing conditions. I agree with you completely. After losing my aunt last week, I hate it even more. The scarring in her lungs killed her. What caused the scarring? That's when I learned that nobody actually died from AIDS, either. I don't want to have this much aggression, but I'm tired of having these plague rats roll their eyes at me for wearing a mask. I don't want to see your freaking slack-jawed, mouth-breathing, nonsense spouting face. Who is going to free me from that injustice? You are, if you wear a mask. If not, I don't know. Die in a volcano. I'm not a philosophy expert. If I can do sprints and sports for multiple hours while wearing a mask, you can wear a mask for the 30 minutes you spend at the supermarket. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.